Thanks, Matt. My name is Ken Lovell, as Matt said. I've worked for the PGA Tour for about 24 years now, and because your AWS team will give you anything that they conceivably think you might want, they gave me this, whether you need it or not. Here's the fun irony of this. It's delicious. I don't actually play golf, which may be a scary admission and something I shouldn't say out loud, and I suspect many of you now have questions, like, are you out of your mind? Why are you doing this? How could you possibly not? But here's the thing. I work for the PGA Tour, and I do what I do because it is an opportunity to do something with information that is fun, that is interesting. We don't look at ourselves as a golf company or a sports league even. We consider ourselves to be a tech company that happens to do sports, that happens to do golf. And so really what we're trying to do is to figure out a way to take every piece of information that is happening on the golf course and find a way to get you to care about it, or find the thing that you do care about and put it in front of you in a way that you want to be. So how do we go about doing that, and what do we do? Let's start with what is it, okay? There are three big picture systems that are involved in what I do. My title is that I'm responsible for golf technology, which is fun and nebulous and can mean anything I want it to. I enjoy that. But really what that comes down to from a software stack perspective is three things. The first one is the one that is not sexy at all. That is our competitions, ranking, and stats system. This is the thing that decides who gets into an event and who gets paid. These are things that are pretty important, but not the stuff that you get really excited about. The second one is data distribution. If we can't put it in front of you, it just doesn't matter. So this is a whole other set of software that we're working through. But the third one is the one that everybody gets very, very excited about. And that is the cool, sexy stuff about how we get things off the golf course. Our job every week is to go and put down infrastructure to get across 250 acres or so all the information that happens on every shot at any given second. That involves a whole series of sensors and networks and all kinds of things like that, and our job is to take that and make it into something. About 20-some years ago, we decided to start doing that. And the way that we started doing that was we just started with some basic human inputs, and we had to figure out how to get that to you. The thing that's scary about that is that there was nothing that allowed us to move that in a reasonable way. So we started putting servers in trucks. I don't know how many of you have any experience with servers. Laugh. Because all of you do. But the bottom line is that servers don't like heat, servers don't like moving, servers don't like trucks, servers don't like that at all. That's not a thing that works very well, but we kept doing it because we didn't really have an alternative. About 3 years ago, we made the decision that we wanted more out of this. We had to find a way to get more information and get it off the golf course and do it quickly. And in order to do that, we made the conscious decision that we were going to think differently about what we were going to do. The place that we started going was thinking about how do you get more information in front of people and do it well, all right? How do you find the story that they want to tell? And that means you need more depth and you need more breadth. We need to go more places and we need to do it in a way that gets it out quickly. So we started with the basic assumption, and we burned it all to the ground. We started from scratch. We rebuilt it completely. We started looking at cool new technologies, things you may have heard of since you're at this conference. I know this cloud thing seems to be taking shape. That gave us a lot of options, okay? Because we can now work remotely. We could use other ways of getting data out. We could have compute on demand. That's a fascinating concept when you have that much information coming off the golf course. But then how do you take that and make it into something that allowed us to get the right tools for the right job? So we're going to spend about an hour on this slide, so I buckle up. There's some Easter eggs in there. This is what we used to do and where it came from. But rather than, let's actually talk, this is where we came out, all right? We did this in a period of about 18 months and rebuilt this all from scratch. Now, what this meant was, and you can all read and you're familiar with this, the bottom line here is not that there is some cool single piece of tech that made this work. For us, the magic of this and the reason that we are doing this with AWS is not because we could take all the data and lift it and shift it into the cloud and the great hard drive in the sky would solve all of our problems. It was because there are a set of tools that would allow us to do the things we wanted to do when we wanted to do them in different and better ways. We could ingest mountains of radar, video, and laser data in ways that couldn't have been done before. We're taking now the ability to ingest this and do immediate analysis of it, allows us to really rethink how we can produce data and do it very, very quickly. And again, you've got a cocktail. One of my favorite things, I love this question. AWS is cute. They love to ask me, what's your favorite AWS tool? I don't know how to answer that question. For example, If I'm in my house and I want to butter my toast, I have two devices that will cut butter. There's a chainsaw in my garage and a knife in my kitchen. I'm not sure which one is good, but they're both useful for very different things. I like all the tools. We love all our children, and they're all very important. We use every one of these things to help us to get things better where they are. This is tech that's been ongoing and developing for a long time. It's not the cutting edge, but it is the stuff that has allowed us to get the data off the golf course. That's vital. Unless you start with data, you don't have a story to tell. But here's what we were able to do with this. What you're looking at is one of the results of that. We can now take and produce from roughly 120 cameras that are producing and taking a 2D sensor and putting into a three-dimensional coordinate plane from a map that we've produced, along with 36 military-grade radars and a host of other sensors, the ability to compute on demand and in real time the location of a ball. We can, within a second and a half before the ball lands, tell you what the zone of impact is going to be for that ball. Once that happens, within another second or so, we can tell you where the precise location of the ball is predicted to be, as well as where it's going to bounce and roll, using physics models and all of the other fun things, including the history of the golf course, the statistics, and the history of that individual player, and how they played today. And then we can also add to that, and then we'll plot the actual point where the ball comes to rest when it's done. This is very, very useful for things that people like to do, because as it turns out, it seems people like to gamble. And this allows us to give people information so they can set odds for the next shot before that happens. We are literally foretelling the future. We can't do that without taking advantage of all of the compute on demand. We cannot do that without the ability to scale. And now people want us to do it more and more places. The models that we've built and the way that we've built it inside of AWS allows us to do that. So what that has done is it has given us the ability to create new and different and better experiences. The problem now is we pulled all that, and it's awesome. But now I want to be able to do something much more useful with it, okay? Stats that are faster are just stats. What else do we do? I need to tell you a story. I need to help you understand. I need to give you something that you care about. Sports is about watching people do things that are insane, hard, difficult, that are superhuman. How do I bring that to you and make you feel something about that? Everything that's about this lends itself to take that foundational data that we have now locked up and put it into these new platforms so that we can think more about them. And the reason that we like what we're doing with AWS is because we are using Bedrock in exactly the way that Matt just described. And we are taking those things and using not a model, but all the models. And we don't do AI because it's cool. We do AI because we need things from it, right? How do I find the next thing that you should care about, that you don't know you want to know before I told you it was there, about the player you didn't know you cared about before you knew who I told you about him, and I'm doing the thing that you didn't know was hard to do until I explained to you how hard it was to do. That's what this is for. Every single one of these becomes a useful tool. And all of that lends itself to what really matters. All the numbers, all the data, all the things that are there, they're useful because that guy is crying. I don't know why, but I'm going to find out because it's important. Why is that guy so excited? I mean, I don't know what's happening over here. And by the way, is he out of his freaking mind? Like, what is going on with that? Where was he in the golf tournament when that was going on? Like, did he care? What was happening? What was going on? We are using these to tell you the story. And the thing about this is we're building these things for the next set of stuff that we want to give you. What about, I want the ability to take an image and build it on the fly for every player, not one, but all of them. I didn't mention this, but when we're doing that kind of, that analysis and bringing you that data that fast, we are doing that for every golf ball on the golf course at the same time. That's 14 to 16 balls in the air at any given second. Like, which one matters to you? I don't know, I'm going to find it. I'm going to find the one you care about. We're using all the models that are out there so that we can create better images. What about an automated broadcast? What about commentary that's unique to the language you care about, or just the players that you want to know about? What is the thing that I can bring you that will make this make sense to you and matter to you? Because when it comes down to it, all this is cool. But the bottom line is that it matters that I can bring you the experience. Because I want you to feel what these people are feeling. Love him or hate him. Love him or hate him. That man is doing something incredibly difficult, and he did it in a way that made those people come out of their chairs. They walked across the golf course to a place they weren't supposed to be a part of a moment that was huge. I'm going to find that data, and I'm going to find the thing you care about, and I am going to make you cry. Thank you.